Audio Jungle.
Soldiers of the Ukrainian armed forces eliminated more than 1,200 invaders and dozens of artillery systems in a day. During the day from October 23 to 24, the Russian aggressors lost more than 1,200 soldiers, 2 rocket salvo systems and almost 70 vehicles in the war against Ukraine. This is reported by the General Staff of the Armed Forces. The total combat losses of the enemy from February 24, 2022 to October 24, 2024 approximately amounted to: personnel, about 684,280 plus 1,240 persons were eliminated. Tanks 9,090 plus 2 units. Armored fighting vehicles 18,254 plus 25 units. Artillery systems 19,719 plus 45 units. RSZV 1236 plus 2 units. Air defense equipment 981 units. Aircraft 369 units. Helicopters 329 units. UAVs of the operational tactical level 17,597 plus 108 units. Cruise missiles 2,625 units. Ships boats 28 units. Submarines 1 unit. Automotive equipment and tank trucks 26,286 plus 69 units. Of special equipment 3,513 plus 4 units. The day before, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine updated the information on Russian losses in the war. During the day of October 22, the Defense Forces eliminated 1,460 invaders, destroyed 51 artillery systems, 30 BBM and 9 tanks. In Kyiv, they told about the downing of enemy drones at night. That night, all Russian kamikaze drones that threatened Kyiv were eliminated by the forces and means of air defense. On the other hand, combat work to repulse an enemy air attack continues in the region. This was announced by the head of the Kyiv City Military Administration, Serhiy Popko. The official drew attention to the fact that the current, Shchekedna, attack on the capital was already the 14th since the beginning of October. The Russian occupiers launched barrage munitions at Kyiv from the Kursk region, and enemy drones entered the capital, mainly from the north and northeast. The air alert in the capital was announced 3 times during the night and lasted almost 6 hours in total, said the head of the KMVA. He emphasized that about a dozen enemy drones were detected in the airspace around Kyiv by the forces and means of air defense. All enemy UAVs that threatened the capital were neutralized, Popko said, adding that the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine will announce the exact number and type of Russian drones later. The official also said that there was no information about the destruction or victims in Kyiv, and the data of the operational summary are being updated and clarified. For the moment, combat work is being conducted in the Kyiv region against the rest of the enemy's BPLA. Therefore, the announcement of an air alert in Kyiv is not excluded. Therefore, I urge you to heed the warning signals and use shelters in case of danger, the head of the KMVA said in the address. During the last day from October 23 to 24, the Russians lost more than 1,200 occupiers, 2 rocket salvo systems and almost 70 vehicles at the front. The consequences of the enemy shelling of Marganets were made public. The power lines, the administration building and the pharmacy were damaged. The Russians attacked Nikopol once again yesterday. The Marganets community was hit with the Grad anti-aircraft missile system. People were not injured. This was announced by the head of Dnipropetrovsk OVA Serhiy Lysyk. According to the updated information, as a result of the artillery shelling of Marganets that took place in the evening, in addition to an industrial enterprise, an administrative building and a pharmacy were damaged in the city, he wrote. The Russians also damaged 7 private houses, 6 farm buildings, 2 garages and 3 cars, greenhouses. Several power lines were affected. Night in the region without enemy strikes. During the last day from October 23 to 24, the Russians lost more than 1,200 occupiers, 2 rocket salvo systems and almost 70 vehicles at the front. That night, all Russian kamikaze drones that threatened Kyiv were eliminated by the forces and means of air defense. On the other hand, combat work to repulse an enemy air attack continues in the region. In Donetsk region, the defense forces stopped Russian attacks in the Selidovo region. 3. During the past day, defenders repelled 38 assaults by Russians in the Pokrovsky direction, in particular, in the area of Selidov settlement. In total, 148 combat clashes took place at the front. This is evidenced by the assembly of the General Staff of the Armed Forces. The greatest concentration of enemy attacks was in the vicinity of Selidovoy. The enemy actively used bombing and assault aircraft for strikes in the direction, the report says. In the Kharkiv direction, the enemy stormed the positions of our defenders 9 times, in particular near the settlements of Vovchansk and Tyke, and in the Kupiansk direction, there were 9 attacks by invaders in a day. There, the defense forces repelled enemy assaults near Pishani, Kruglyakivka, Stepava Novoselivka, Lozova, Vaishnovoy, and Pershotravnevo. In the Lyman direction, the enemy attacked 12 times, trying to penetrate our defenses near Grakivka, Terna, Novomikhailivka, Torsky, and Serebryanka. In the Kramatorsk direction, the occupiers attacked 5 times in the areas of Stupochki, Bila Hora, and Hurahorivka, and in the Teresk direction, they carried out 6 attacks in the direction of Teresk and Nelipivka. In the Pokrovsky direction, our defenders stopped 38 assault and offensive actions of the occupiers in the areas of the settlements of Selidovoy, Novoteresk, Lysivka, Suhoy Balka, Promeny, Suhoy Yar, Krutoy Yar, Myrolubivka, Krasny Yar and Mikhailivka. The greatest concentration of enemy attacks was recorded near Selidovoy. The invaders actively used bombing and attack aircraft for strikes in the direction. In the Kharkiv direction, the defense forces successfully repelled 34 attacks. There the occupiers tried to advance near Katarinivka and Kremenaya Balka, attacked near Antonivka, Novodmitrivka, Novoselidivka, Kostyantinivka, Zoryani, Gostroy and Dalny, and actively used aviation. In the Vremysk direction, the enemy carried out 5 assaults on our positions in the Bogoyavlenka, Novokrenka, and Zolotaya Niva areas, and in the Orihsk region, 1 unsuccessful enemy attack was repulsed during the day near Novodanilivka. 4 times, the invading troops unsuccessfully tried to dislodge units of the defense forces from their positions in the Dnieper direction. In addition, an operation is underway in the Kursk region, where enemy aircraft continue to raze their villages and cities to the ground. Over the past 24 hours, Russian aircraft have carried out 38 airstrikes with 55 anti-aircraft missiles on their own territory. No signs of the formation of enemy offensive groups were detected in the Volyn and Polisk directions. On the border with the Chernihiv, Sumy, and Kharkiv regions, the enemy is actively using artillery and aviation in the areas of Ukrainian settlements from the territory of the Russian Federation. Our soldiers inflict significant losses in manpower and equipment on the occupying forces and actively undermine the offensive potential of the enemy in the rear. During the day from October 23 to 24, the Russian aggressors lost more than 1,200 soldiers, 2 rocket salvo systems and almost 70 vehicles in the war against Ukraine. On the night of October 24, Russian aggressors attacked Ukraine with 50 attack UAVs of the Shahed type and unmanned aerial vehicles of an unknown type. In the morning it was confirmed that 40 enemy UAVs were shot down. The Russians killed 4 National Guardsmen who were captured near Selidovoy. Russian military terrorists in the area of the city of Selidov in Donetsk region captured 4 soldiers of the National Guard of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, interrogated them on camera, and then killed them. This is reported by the Prosecutor General's office. According to operational data, on October 6, 2024, 4 soldiers of the National Guard of Ukraine performed service and combat tasks at positions in the area of the city of Selidov. Around 1300, the occupying forces launched an assault on the fortifications, during which they captured our defenders. Later, the representatives of the armed forces of the Russian Federation recorded the interrogation of the wounded, unarmed National Guardsmen on video. The next day, the defense forces regained their lost positions and, during search operations, discovered the bodies of the killed Ukrainian servicemen. The killing of prisoners of war is a gross violation of the Geneva Conventions and qualifies as a grave international crime. The pre-trial investigation is being carried out by investigators of the State Security Service of Ukraine in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, the report said. It will be recalled that the ISW Institute for the Study of War previously noted that Russian troops have recently increased the number of systematic executions of Ukrainian prisoners of war. In addition, the enemy uses chemical weapons at the front. The Prosecutor General's office sent an indictment to the court against 3 Russian servicemen involved in war crimes during the occupation of the village of Novopetrivka, Bashtin District, Mykolaiv Oblast. Earlier in Zaporizhia, an indictment was sent to the court against a Russian soldier who is suspected of shooting a Ukrainian prisoner of war in the Polegiv district of the region. Also, in Ukraine, an employee of the Russian FSB, suspected of torturing civilians during the temporary occupation of part of the Kharkiv region, will be tried in absentia. An anti-Ukrainian agitator who admired the Wagnerites and Russian Cossacks will be tried in Ivano-Frankivsk. The man faces 8 years in prison. The occupiers destroyed 80% of Pokrovsk's critical infrastructure. As of October 24, 80% of critical infrastructure in Pokrovsk was destroyed due to enemy attacks. This is stated in the message of the Pokrovsk MBA. As of today, 80% of the city's critical infrastructure has already been destroyed. The enemy cynically destroys everything on which the life of the community depends, the message reads. It is noted that the private sector of the northern part of Pokrovsk was attacked by Russian troops last night. 2 private houses fell into the shelling zone. As a result of enemy shelling, a gas pipe was broken. 54 subscribers remained without gas supply. There were no casualties, the MBA said. On the same day, enemy shelling took place in a field outside the town of Rodinsk, on the territory of the Dobropol community. Currently, the type of weapons is being established. During the past day, defenders repelled 38 assaults by Russians in the Pokrovsky direction, in particular, in the area of Selidov settlement. In total, 148 combat clashes took place at the front. During the day from October 23 to 24, the Russian aggressors lost more than 1,200 soldiers, 2 rocket salvo systems and almost 70 vehicles in the war against Ukraine. On the night of October 24, Russian aggressors attacked Ukraine with 50 attack UAVs of the Shahed type and unmanned aerial vehicles of an unknown type. In the morning it was confirmed that 40 enemy UAVs were shot down. The occupiers hit Starokostoyantinov. There are casualties and destruction. On October 24, Russian invaders attacked Starokostyantinov in the Khmelnytsky region. There are casualties and damage. A fire has broken out. This was announced by the mayor of Starokostoyantinov, Mykola Melnichuk, and the head of Khmelnytsky Ova Serhiy Tyurin. According to the mayor, at this time there are 4 victims, 2 of whom are in the hospital. The hotel building in the community was destroyed. The roof was completely destroyed there. In addition, windows and panes were broken in high-rise buildings and private houses. Currently, all relevant services are working on the ground, Melnichuk said. According to the head of OVA, 1 person was injured. In general, a residential apartment building was damaged as a result of the attack. The fire was extinguished by the State Emergency Service. Work on dismantling the structures is ongoing, Tyurin said. In addition, according to the head of the OVA, the roof of the hotel and a non-residential building were damaged, and windows in one of the region's libraries were damaged by the blast wave. On the night of October 24, Russian aggressors attacked Ukraine with 50 attack UAVs of the Shahed type and unmanned aerial vehicles of an unknown type. In the morning it was confirmed that 40 enemy UAVs were shot down. As a result of falling fragments of downed Russian drones in the Kyiv region, a transformer and windows in the buildings of 2 enterprises were damaged. Cyber experts attack the websites of 13 Russian companies involved in the war in Ukraine. Ukrainian cyber experts have influenced the servers of 13 Russian companies, including Roskhem Zashchita, which produces personal protective equipment for the Russian Federation, and the Rusvelikaya Foundation, which promotes the ideology of Russian peace. Army Inform writes about this. Also, cybercriminals hack the websites of enterprises involved in lending to participants in the Russian aggression, Zalog, and Joy Money, IFC. The publication reminded that on October 24, Russia celebrates the Day of Special Purpose Units of the Armed Forces. Therefore, on the start pages of the affected sites, an image of the Chief of the General Staff of the Russian Federation Valery Gerasimov and the Minister of Defense Andrei Belousov appeared with a poem about special forces and a wish Let the graves of the generals grow, and flowers grow on your graves. Personal data of the Russian military, obtained during the operation, and other potentially interesting data were transferred to the relevant structures. Cyber specialists of the main Directorate of Intelligence carried out another DDoS attack on Russian institutions. This time, the biggest banks came under attack. Since May 12, cyber specialists of the main Directorate of Intelligence GUD of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine have been conducting a cyber attack on internet providers and communication service providers in the Belgorod region of the Russian Federation. The number of injured as a result of the airstrike on Kupiansk has increased to 9. The number of injured as a result of the airstrike on Kupiansk has increased to 9. Among them are people from 40 to 71 years old. Oleg Sinagubov, head of OVA, announced this on his Telegram channel. 4 people are hospitalized. Among them, 1 person is in serious condition, 3 are in average condition, Sinagubov said. According to the data of the National Police, in the morning of October 24, the occupiers hit the city of Kupiansk, previously, ODAB 1500. An aerial bomb hit near a shop in the market. 5 women and 2 men received bodily injuries of varying severity. A 2-story building in the market was partially destroyed, 12 trade stalls, kindergartens, residential buildings, and an administrative building were damaged. We will remind you that in the morning the Russians struck near the store and the local market in Kupiansk, Kharkiv region. Currently, 2 dead people are known. On the night of October 24, Russian aggressors attacked Ukraine with 50 attack UAVs of the Shahed type and unmanned aerial vehicles of an unknown type. In the morning it was confirmed that 40 enemy UAVs were shot down. As a result of falling fragments of downed Russian drones in the Kyiv region, a transformer and windows in the buildings of 2 enterprises were damaged. The number of injured as a result of the thermobaric bomb attack on Kupiansk continues to grow. The number of injured as a result of the shelling of Kupiansk with a thermobaric bomb on October 24 increased to 11. Also, 1 woman died. This was reported by the telegram of the head of the Kharkiv OVA Oleg Sinagubov. According to updated data, a 73-year-old woman died as a result of enemy shelling in Kupiansk. Earlier, the injured woman was hospitalized, but it was not possible to save her, he said. According to him, the number of victims has increased to 11. Among them are 8 women and 3 men. Previously, the enemy used ODAB 1500 thermobaric ammunition. The data is being updated, Sinagubov stated. Russian troops struck near a shop and a market in Kupiansk, Kharkiv region. 4 victims were initially reported. Later it turned out that the occupiers attacked Kupiansk with a thermobaric bomb. And the number of victims increased to 9 people. In the Kherson region, the occupiers shelled a village with artillery. An elderly woman was injured. In the Kherson region, the occupiers shelled the village of Rozliv of the Bilozor community with artillery. A 71-year-old woman was injured as a result of the attack. This is reported by Kherson OVA. About 1500, the occupiers attacked the village of Rozliv of the Bilozor community with artillery, the report says. A 71-year-old woman suffered a blast injury, facial injuries and a bruised shoulder due to enemy fire. The ambulance team took the victim to the hospital for medical assistance. Also in the Kherson region, the occupiers attacked the city of Berislav from a drone. A civilian was injured as a result of the shelling. On the night of October 24, Russian aggressors attacked Ukraine with 50 attack UAVs of the Shahed type and unmanned aerial vehicles of an unknown type. In the morning it was confirmed that 40 enemy UAVs were shot down. As a result of falling fragments of downed Russian drones in the Kyiv region, a transformer and windows in the buildings of 2 enterprises were damaged. In the Russian Federation, the commanders shot the entire unit to stop the riot. Rebellions continue in the Russian army. Recently, commanders shot a unit of stormtroopers who refused to go on missions at the front. This was reported by the Russian military propagandist Maxim Kalashnikov. According to him, the Russian soldiers who wrote complaints against their command and claimed that they wanted to reset them ended up being shot by their own commanders. On October 21, information appeared that the assault unit of the 19th Tank Regiment of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation had taken up a circular defense and recorded a video message in which it accused its own command of intending to eliminate the entire combat group. According to them, the practice of executions has already spread widely in the Russian army. This is how they deal with those who refuse to go on, meet assaults. As a result, only one Russian soldier remained alive among the disaffected, who was thrown into a pit for punishment. The boys were put in a pit, and only one survived. One among all who were in the video. Zeroed by order of the commander of the 67th Division 25A, the blogger was indignant. Earlier, aerial reconnaissance units of the Russian Air Force, fighters of the Chartia NGU Brigade, 12th OZSP and 92nd ZSU brigades joined forces to identify and destroy as many Russian guns as possible in their area of responsibility in the Kharkiv region. During the day from October 23 to 24, the Russian aggressors lost more than 1,200 soldiers, 2 rocket salvo systems and almost 70 vehicles in the war against Ukraine.